All right, welcome back, everybody. We are locked and loaded onto the Rift for week 2, day 2 of the League of Legends Saturday series, brought to you by One Life to Play. The qualifiers for our season 2 try.
Yeah, this
Season
is going
2.
to be exciting. We do see Watts the Water on blue side and Finky Binky real kinky on the red side. And you know, we saw this last week. I like that we've been seeing teams just running it down a lane at the start of game. We're
Yeah,
not really seeing any like crazy invades. Obviously, they were spotted out by the Sakali, but they said we don't care. We're going anyway.
right. That's a real kinky level 1 strategy, if you ask me. And try one thing I noticed in the loading screen was Kane is going Conquer Domination.
Hmm.
This looks to me like a red setup. And with that Zac lock, coming in, I think Red Kane actually looks like something that can maybe take over the game. So we'll have to keep an eye on where he passed to, if he tries to get red orbs, and if he looks for that transformation. And when he does get that transformation, how much it can really take over the game. Both teams have kind of dispersed. It might be a mirrored red or topside start here. Mumu gonna be soloing his blue. Oh no, that's leashed, I think.
All
And red,
right, sorry about
yeah,
that.
that's a leash blue start and a Kane starting at Raptors. So I think it's likely that both junglers could be pathing together and towards the bot side, but we'll have to see.
That would be my guess. I don't really, like I said, I'm a little lost in the jungle meta. How are people clearing scuttles and stuff? Is it still top priority to try and double scuttle enemy jungler right now, or is the full clear the way to go?
That's a great question, and I think both of these junglers would be happy trading scuttles, and if one of them can't get to one, they'll give it up. I think the meta where double scuttling is the absolute go-to play is the meta where you see like Elise and Rek'Sai, those level 3 champions that
Yeah,
dominate the river. When you have champions like Kayn and Amumu, they can't really afford to force double scuttle plays, right? So they're
yeah.
both happy trading, and if one gets one, the other one will likely just retreat and go get the other one, and it's fine.
I like to see this, a little noodle slapping going on in the top lane between
Mm-mm.
these two meatballs here.
Meatballs and noodles, you're getting me hungry.
Oh yeah, some spaghetti. You know you're hungry when a game of League of Legends is making you think about food. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I'm I, I'm excited to see how this plays out because I feel like there's a lot of poke in the bot lane for the side of Finky Binky because of the Maokai and Ezreal. They could just be throwing their skill shots out, could be landing Qs from Malphite or Maokai and his whatever little
Saplings?
saplings,
Oh,
yeah,
for
as well.
sure.
Get them in the bush on blue side and it just be a menace.
Yeah, so what Maokai really provides in the bot lane is total control of the bushes, which is a pretty big deal. Like, Janna could face check those and shield herself, but it would take a lot of time and resources and cooldowns to do that. So most Maokai bot lanes, you have to concede the brush. And if you pair that with Ezreal, you start to run out of places to hide from the Q. It's basically
Yeah.
just your minions in plain sight. So they could definitely provide some poke damage, but
So we see blue side making their way into river because I think we have a little jungle throwdown here. We can get a better look. Let's get out here. I think maybe mid lane is going to come in as well.
yeah, and it looks like blue team here, Watts the Water, will secure them. They had the priority on the crab. The entire team mobilized into the river quickly.
Basically, just making it impossible for red team to make it there in time. Kane just had to back out through his jungle and continue pathing from there.
Right, but both junglers actually pathing on the way as we see a 2v2 emerge, and the focus is going to be the Morgana. Will go down first blood to the Akali. Can they get more? Kane with Conqueror's stack will have to flash, ease into the wall. Akali went a bit too deep, but will not
Oh,
drop. The Kane running into the wall, that bit of HP he got almost baited Akali into death, but at
yes.
the end of the day, Watts the Water with a really nice 2v2 in the mid, get a pickup on Akali, and that's not what you want to see. Another thing, Mumu looks to be taking that crab here. So Mumu did do the aggressive thing.
Hmm.
You transition gank through mid and go for double crab. Kane was on the same page, right?
Sorry about
And
that,
so they
guys.
met each other in the mid lane. And the skirmish in the early game goes over to the Akali in this instance.
I am just turning off our chat here, and it seems like okay, it is off, and we will be back on directed camera right now. We are back in the action. It is 1-0 for Watts the Water, and they're up only about 600 gold right now, so things are looking still pretty even. We take a look at farm here. All lanes pretty close in farm, including the junglers not too far off. Maybe one camp, two camps for a Moo here. And we're starting to see people making their backs and picking up some of their first items.
And I think the jungle farm difference just hasn't hit yet off the double crab. You see he's only up a camp and a half, but I think the camps he'll take are going to be up faster than Kane's. Not too sure. But the Mumu getting the double crab and the first blood on Akali is pretty huge. So the gold is not too far off. But the state of the game and the snowball potential that Watts the Water has is definitely there.
Yeah, and looks like Zach was looking for something there on Morgana in the mid lane, but she did spot him out with a ward, hit him with a binding, and now he's just making his way back to top. So maybe a bit of wasted time there for the top laner of What's the Water, but we do see Mumu making his way down into bot lane looking for something right now.
This shouldn't work unless they focus the Maokai and he misplays, I think.
Kane is making his way here as well, so we may see a 3v3.
So they will go on Maokai here, and he'll just get bursted down. Well, he re-engages with the TP help, so he will drop, but what can they trade back? Morgana will Black Shield herself and advance. There's no ultis in this fight other than the Amumu ulti. He must have just hit 6. Will drop 1, 2, and Finky Binky Real Kinky looking for their third here.
And I think simultaneously getting the Zac passive in the top lane, but it's looking real close.
Oh, that wins that. So
wow.
Zac will trade back for Watts the Water on the top.
Oh, we see Akali here. Was this another TP? Yes, it was.
Akali arriving, not able to find much. Does she still have her ulti? I believe she does. And I think Amumu hit 6 during that. When he ganked, he was level 5. So I think the lane minions gave him the 6 that was able to give him a 2-3 man route and turn the fight there.
Unfortunately, I think that the Amumu hitting 6 and getting his ulti off there kind of baited the team into losing another life. I think it should have only been Amumu going down there, but instead they lost Lucian as well. I think he was when he saw the ulti go off, he said, "This is my chance. I'm eating back in. I'm going to try and do some damage," and it was not enough. So
yeah, you're right, Chad. The fight actually goes in the way of Finky Binky Real Kinky. So I was talking about the Amumu ulti, but that's just because it caught me by such a surprise. But I think it was the Morgana TPing aggressively and quickly, and also the heroic re-engage from Maokai to try and last and lock up some members. And we definitely have a game on our hands with the clapback there. And watch out for Kane just taking over this game as he's 1-0-1, farming fine. And hopefully looking to get his form here pretty soon. Another champion to keep an eye on is Ezreal here. I've seen all kinds of cool builds. You can build a Ravenous Hunter, you know, the Tiamat on that. And you can build that on Ezreal, and his Qs will pop with AoE damage. Yeah.
Okay, I love that.
I've seen it.
Wow, that really changes laning phase so much because you could potentially be hitting damage even though they're hiding behind minions.
You don't have it in lane is the thing.
It's a late game.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
well, regardless, when you're in lane, let's say your team is pushing down mid, they now are not totally safe just hiding behind a wave as you're trying to lay down poke damage. Pretty interesting. What is the early like laning phase build path then?
So I think he's gonna go Divine Sunder here. He's in a double tank. Divine Sunder is a max health Sheen item, and Ezreal does really well with it. So you see he's stacking his tier. He'll probably go Sunder next, and then after that he could opt into the Ravenous Hydra if he's been studying the new tech. Another good third item, there's one that slows you, but we see a Mumu gank. It should work because Maokai engages at the same time.
The flash ult.
And ulti will take down the Ezreal, and it looks like a cleanup act here onto the Maokai. Who do they want to give the kill to? Probably the Lucian. Can he double tap him? One more, and Sticky Arms will go down to Externix. Great job with that Amumu gank. Amumu's showing up.
Yeah, excellent gank by Crypt on there. Well played, and we do see we're going right back from the bot lane into the top lane again. A little brawl there, close to Zac's tower, but not enough damage going out from either of those tanks to make plays happen.
Yeah, and beautiful gank by Mumu. Does land the ulti on both. It looks like Sticky Arms is always, I think, What's the Water is able to kind of bait Sticky Arms into an engage when they have a gank coming. They either walk too far forward or they act like they mess a spell up or something, and they can just play it really smart.
Yeah. We may have missed over this. We do see Finky Binky has the Air Drake, and we have a Fire Drake coming up in 2 minutes and 25 seconds. Let's see who will be making their way down into the bot side to try and secure that dragon. I don't necessarily. I guess did they pick up that first dragon when they had the whole team in river getting scuttle?
Honestly, Chad, I'm not too sure. I also missed that. A lot of first drakes can go down to junglers just soloing it once
Yeah.
you're like level 5. Some junglers can do that like level 4. So the first drake is often uncontestable by one team depending on the situation. But definitely from now on, we'll have to keep an eye on it as we see Infernal is spawning in 2 minutes. And we know the soul is not Cloud, right? So drakes are pretty high priority for both teams. And drakes are definitely still a solid way to win the game. The item changes did not shake up the end game
Like
too
objective
much.
goals as much.
That's right.
That's good to hear. I'm sure people were worried. The season of the elements, the changes to the jungle, the objectives was, I think, generally well received. Everybody likes it. I think that if it really mixed things up too much with these item changes, then people may not have been as happy.
Right.
So glad to see that those things are staying pretty similar to previous season, and we're not seeing too much changes outside of the item. We know that affects the meta and what champs are going to be played in the jungle and potentially how you play around these objectives, but still they play a large importance and people are excited to like.
This is a 1v1. Morgana will hit the Kali with ulti, but has to back away because Amumu is there, is running to the safety of the Kayn, who has yet to transform. And you can see the power of the Morgana here. If the Kali shrouds, Morgana could just press R, find her, tag her with that, hit her with the binding. She's stuck for 3 days as Dope Sensei will go clean that up and eventually win the fight for Finky Binky. Real Kinky B. 2v2 Eternix has taken down Sticky Arms again. This time no Mumu gank, just the 2v2. I missed the setup, but Lucian Janna apparently packing the heat in lane here.
Ezreal probably has E, but he's looking like he's potentially in a sticky situation. Oh, and a big stun by Amumu. Unfortunately, Janna going to pick up the kill.
Yeah, I think Amumu tagged Humongous Dick with his tether before the Ezreal E, the arcane shift.
Wait,
what? Humongous. Oh, DLCK. Dulk. Humongous Dulk with his tether before the arcane shift happened, and then he followed him with it, and now Humongous Dulk will go down.
Humongous over here, man. Gamers and their tags. I mean, we've seen some pretty creative ones so far in Season 1 of the LSS. I'm sure they're not going to be cooling off anytime soon.
I wanted to make the statement that I will say it, so it's not going to work. Like, I don't know. I actually
you
did
can't
work
prank us, guys.
No, the names are funny, but they can't be too vulgar. All right, as we return back to action.
Clearing up some vision here in the bot side river, and we do have the second dragon going over to Watts the Water with a Fire Drake and a 2k gold lead. Up 4 kills. And it's looking like, let's take a look at items and farm here. You know, on that side of things, it's looking somewhat even. They don't really have that big of a lead, so game is still pretty close.
Yeah, the game's definitely close. To me, it looks like Lucian and Mumu are ramping here. Kali is farming pretty well, but just has a tough matchup. But my eyes are on the Kayn, who has completed Gore Drinker and is definitely going to be going red here. This champion can
He did
carry
transform,
the game.
so he is red form right now. Oh, some big damage there. But let's see if this roam can do anything for Sticky Arms.
Yeah, and so just helping the Morgana push the lane, kind of unlocking the Morgana for a possible roam. She looks for binding and will hit it, but does that bait her into the Mumu, who will tether onto Zifter. He has the black shield, but it's a bit late. He's looking to retreat, not running to his Maokai. Will flash. Did Akali go too far forward? Both flashes now mid and another tether into the 2-man. But can his team get over the wall? Another beautiful binding onto the Akali, and she will drop. And Amumu has to flash out as well. Multiple flashes. Now red team is on the pursuit, ultimately winning the situation as we see the orange flash. E will knock the Amumu up, chasing him down. The brittle auto cannot connect. Another flash over the wall from blue team.
And this is a goddamn brawl.
Will fly in and return one now, and we see red team. Have they gone too far with the Zac? He will ulti, bop a few up. Is that enough for Lucian to do the damage? Cripone has slain the Kayn. And we see Orn, he's still fighting, will eventually go down after taking down Amumu. Zach, one more time, will go in, pops passive, Lucian
And this is going to be an
firing
ace.
back.
Wow.
And that is an ace.
That play, you know, when Amumu went over that wall, man, I was for sure thinking you are way overcommitting. Here comes the rest of Freaky Binky, and you're in trouble.
Exactly.
But then it turned out really well for them, turns into an ace, and things are going great.
And
Wow.
what happened was the Orn did a ton of work there for Red Team, but it sort of baited them to going too far into Blue's jungle where they start to lose vision, which makes it really hard to win situations. And it was Lucian with the help of Janna. Janna in those really long fights is a very sick champion to have, can disengage, can just stop opportunities of your teammates going down. And if Lucian is free firing that entire time, you're going to end up winning that exchange at this mid-game point. So really well played by What's the Waters. And yeah, that Amumu crazy play. Queuing over, Ring, and then having to flash back over the wall. But at the end of the day, it works. And you know who would look really scary in fights like that is this Red Kayn.
Yeah.
Once he transforms.
But like I said, he is transformed here. But I think he showed up to that fight really late as things were closing
Was he
up. He was
transformed
coming
for
in
the last fight?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. He was transformed before that fight started. He was clearing raptors and then kind of came around after Amumu had already went down. So it's already, but at that point I think it was a 4v4 again. So.
Gotcha. We'll have to look for a better setup for Finky Binky, real Kinky.
We do have Janna here is clearing some wards. Ocean Drake is coming up in 50 seconds. I would assume that is going to be Watts the Water's next priority.
Yep, definitely. It's going to be Stack and Drake. So can they get their Zach down there? Zach has TP. So does Orange. So we could see it.
We see Kayn going in for a gank here. Can Zach get out here easily with his E? He says, "Nice try, boy."
Yeah, the Kayn could have, they needed vision on him first. I'm not sure if they saw him charging it up, but the Kayn needed to interrupt the flyby with W.
His W,
and
yeah.
he was positioned in where he could just put it straight down and bop him up out of it. That could have resulted in a kill on Zach, but good look in the early game. And I think Kayn is on Herald with Drake spawning here, so we see Amumu waddling his way down into the red quadrant. He will want to look to trade those objectives. But if Kayn and Ornn can kill the Herald, and they did, and make it to Drake, they could
I
look
think
to
they can.
twofer.
Kayn is making his way into mid lane for a transition gank.
Yeah, and he also will help Morgana with push. Ooh, and
oh boy.
Tags up the Akali. Burns her Shroud, so now they have like 18 seconds to wear. But Amumu's already on Drake, so high pressure situation, very intense. Drake will go over to Mumu. We see blue team TPing in. It's going to be a fight.
Yeah.
The Mumu will engage onto the Kayn, who's getting spaced out. He will flash onto the Janna, but she will disengage. Now he goes in ulti. It's a fight at multiple fronts. Zach getting a couple tangle ups here. Humongous going to have to peel off. Who is winning in this fight? It's going to be the Lucian taking down Maokai to start it, but Ornn does so much with that Sunfire. He will go down. Oh, and Ezreal with the sniper reply onto Lucian. So Ezreal surviving there ends up paying dividends, and we see a 2 for 2. Kayn was able.
And it's still going.
Wow. Zulfer has been sniper mode with these bindings on this Akali.
Amumu probably going to go down here too if Morgana can hit a binding. Oh boy, and he does, but only to the pool, thanks to the Ezreal Q.
Yeah.
We could take a look at the start of that fight here.
Yeah,
but as I say that, we may be seeing this. Oh, and he just makes it out. Okay, we could pull that up again and get a look at how this fight started.
So we see Kayn goes in on Janna. He eventually gets the Janna. Now we have the tank 3v3 battle, right? Sunfire's hitting each other. Ezreal and Lucian getting good damage off here. And at the end of the day, it's 3-on-1, but with an Ezreal that can back up damage. He uses Arcane Shift a bit poorly there, but finally, yeah, makes that a 2-for-1 trade in that sense. And then the Kayn on Janna was 1-for-0, making it a 2-for-2. And this is a barn burner. This is a banger. This is a game here. Trying our week 2 here of our qualifiers. Who will advance into
What are your
LSS?
predictions? Is that bad? Is that BM to make predictions right now? I think it's looking like I'm really concerned about this Kayn. Kayn is already getting to that point where even though blue side was ahead in those fights, that they are coming out on top, which is quite intimidating.
Yeah, my eyes are on Kane and Lucian here. Unless Akali finds a pop-off fight, she has been neutralized effectively by the Morgana. It's going to have to be the Lucian. He has an Enchanter, he has double frontline, and he has Akali's threat to kind of help space for him. And if he is not a great Lucian player, he will fall off and not be able to provide the damage to get through the likes of Ornn, Maokai, into the mid late game. But if he is an amazing Lucian player, he can carry this game. So that's who my eyes are on for Watts the Waters. And I agree with you here with this Kane, and I think I'm leaning towards Finky Binky Real Kinky just because of draft. I think their draft is a bit
Yeah,
easier to pull off and looks like it fits well into what Watts the Water has put together.
yeah, I think so too. Um, but I agree with what you said about this Lucian. He is ahead. He's 6-2 right now. Definitely the bot side of Watts the Water has the advantage over bot side of Finky Binky. But, you know, like we said, that doesn't necessarily mean much if Lucian has a hard time getting through the front line of Finky Binky as we progress into this game.
In track, Kraken Slayer has been buffed in the patch that I was talking about. So big buff.
Glad to hear that.
Mhm.
I'm hoping that, you know, this will be a little bit better meta for AD carries as when I last was playing consistently,
Yeah.
it was not so good for AD.
It looks fine for ADs right now. With that Kraken changes, champions like Kaisa really benefited from it randomly. And we
Love
see
that.
Lucian he gets a double auto quite frequently, right? So he's going to be getting those 3 auto procs. Vayne is kind of out of control with this item too. So yeah, Marksman can cut through these tanks. It's all about the curve, right?
Yeah.
If Lucian is ahead of curve, he will be able to get through. Or if he falls behind that curve, he'll have a really hard time. But with the Amumu Zax setup, their playmaking could set up completely free fights for Watts of Waters too. So I'm not saying those two champions can't carry the game. They just can't provide the DPS. They could carry the game with excellent playmaking.
We do see again Ocean Drake coming up in about 50 seconds here as we see all the team kind of hanging out in this bottom quadrant. Red side definitely having the dominance here in blue side jungle.
Yeah, Kane taking Krugs right in the face of Amumu, but Amumu will find the tether on him. When Black Shield goes down onto the Kane as they look to low-key disengage, and Binding will hit. Zephyr really playing this Morgana really well so far. Just bindings every time she's on the screen of someone else. And we see some of that Maokai poke coming in. Janna can help a bit with that. And red side, another binding goes down on Amumu. This might set up a Kane Q into W ulti. Amumu will drop now, and it looks like a red team fight. As we see Kane persisting, Humongous will take down Akali. That's a 2-for-0 red team, and I think the remaining 3 will have to flee.
Yeah, this means that Kane is going to be able to easily take this dragon here coming up in 1 second while the rest of blue team backs off. We could take a look at how that fight started here with Morgana getting a clean binding on Amumu.
Yep.
Kane can easily just phase through the wall, and they shut him down pretty quickly.
Yeah, and he was able to get in his ulti, I think, before Amumu even ulted. If Kane is not being chain CC'd, he does not die. And if you add Morgana Black Shield, which we already saw Zulfer put on him once, if you put a Black Shield on that Kane in the middle of 3-4 tanks, he's not going down. He will heal on those tanks. And I think he is going to be going Black Cleaver next. And Death Dance does look good, try, but it's a armor item now primarily. It gives you, I think, like 30-40 armor. So you would be reluctant to buy it against Zakamumu Akali.
Yeah, definitely.
But definitely Cleaver is a good pickup. Amumu will tag Zephyr here. Is he out of position finally? Will they get him down? It looks like a 3v1. Quickly dropping. Is there a Zanya's? We see an
another fight breaking out here.
As a reply, this could be a blue team fight as we see Kane engage, gets multiple man knockup. Amumu all hits him. He's getting bopped around in the bouncy house, and I think he ends up ulting, healing, and getting out. Maokai really low. Here's the Lucian, but Lucian's low. Kane will eventually drop, and we see Akali pursuing the Maokai. Blue team, red team should not have taken a fight after their Morgana goes down for free. That's like the only way blue team can win a fight. Now they should start Baron. But they should also not feel too bad if they have to back off. Ezreal can chip away here. See that Ezreal Q there? A couple more of those.
Oh, and he gets one.
He ends up just going for the kill. He's going to have to dodge the Amumu bandage toss, but can't because of the Zek.
But that may be enough to cancel the Baron. I don't think they're going to be able to restart it now. They're just going to have to back off. Red team is coming up. So I would say worth for Ezreal there.
Yeah, definitely worth. You get the kill on the Lucian, that's your counterpart. He goes down, and you stop Aaron. I'll take that. Another play could have just been looking for more Qs because once you tag that Lucian, he kind of has to just leave.
Otherwise, he just dies to Baron damage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you could look to, maybe put together a double or a triple if you play it a bit slower, but
Yeah, if you land like, if you in that scenario you land like 2 or 3 more Qs after that Lucian Q, that could mean all of them are chunked to a quarter health, and then you
Yeah.
make your aggressive play.
And the way HP can work is once Lucian goes down to 10% HP, he no longer occupies any space that you can't walk into. So now you have more space to influence the Baron decision. You can look for greedier Qs without them being able to do anything until eventually you can E forward with no threat of response because everybody's too low.
Yeah. Mid tower finally going down to Finky Binky here, and starting to open things up. We do have the tier 1 towers for top, mid, and bottom gone.
Oh, Mumu, beautiful two-man ulti. And the follow-up here for blue team as Zach will fly on to Humongous, and they take out Morgana. This is the engage blue team needs. Ecternix will take down Ornn, and Lara took down Mungus, and it's just cleanup from here. Blue team finding the plays with the Amumu Zach. And that's absolutely what needs to happen for them to win this game.
Yeah, so we can bring that up. Unfortunately, Kane hanging out in the top side waiting for that scuttle, and he looks like he probably will get it here, but that means the rest of his team going down, and if I am Watch the Water, I'm looking at Baron here.
Definitely look to Baron here. Beautiful engage by Mumu, followed up by Zach, but now it looks like a steal situation where he just doesn't want to be spotted.
He needs to be careful. Oh, he's walking into the scanner. They do know he's there now.
He runs in. They are aware. Mumu's looking. They stop the damage on Baron, but he goes in at 1K, and blue team will take it. It's Zach. Kane in ulti. Cannot 1v5 quite yet.
Yeah, a worthwhile attempt because things are looking pretty rough for Finky Binky now. But really did not want to let them get that Baron, so I think it was the right play to try and go for the steal. Unfortunately, Zach going to get it.
Yeah.
So it must have been close, because the Amumu Smite didn't get it. Kane had his chance there.
If it goes over to Zach, you know it was up in the air and possible for Kane to get. But, big pressure situation. Yeah, I agree. You got to go for that if you're Kane. And you can absolutely still win this game for Finky Binky, real kinky, unless they let the pressure get to them and start just perma-contesting everything. I think when enemy team has a better team fight, or these big engage tools, you're going to have to stack a few towers. We'll have to see how they minimize the damage, but they're already invading the jungle, and Amumu has found out Sticky Arms, who gets the black shield, but it's a red reply, a huge Amumu ult, and a good Ornn ult through this cut here. It is a mess in here. We see Lucian free firing, but will go down. Humongous has gone uncontested this fight, and here's the Ezreal damage with the Divine Sunderer here. Zach is trying to DPS down the Ornn, who will bop him and himself away. The Ezreal follow-up. He has red buff. He should be able to chase this down. It's a matter of commitment, and he will flee. Zach still has passive, and Ezreal's looking to play wave here. Has Ornn with him, and what an absolute mess of a fight.
Yeah.
We'll have to take another look at that one.
We can bring that up right here. It seemed like Humongous Dick had humongous damage there in that fight. Totally uncontested, like you said.
This can't
this is bringing up a... This is way past fight.
You see, that's what was happening to me in Season 1.
Yeah. No problem there, but yeah, it seems like the game is starting to break open. We're seeing fights take place back-to-back off respawns as teams are making their way into enemy jungle, trying to take some resources away from Watch the Water, but by doing so, they're getting themselves stuck in bad positions where they're taking kind of these messy fights that are not going in their favor, and now it's a 26 kills for Watch the Water and 17 for Finky Binky, real kinky, and it's looking close. Finky Binky, though, we did miss it again as we were talking about that play. They do pick up another Ocean Drake, so it is 3 Drakes on the side of Finky Binky and 2 on Watch the Water.
Yeah, and Finky Binky winning that situation and getting Drake, in my opinion, does mean that entire fight was worth it, although it did look good for both sides at times. We saw Mumu and Zach get a ton of value in those fights, but at the end of the day, if you're getting that third soul and putting your team on soul point, it's totally worth. And we see Zach with an impressive scoreline, and boy is he tanky here, kind of taking over the game with this tank Zach top, at least statistically.
Yeah, looking good. He's 7-0-8 with a 700 gold bounty. It's going to be hard to take that away from him. This is kind of a scenario where as an AD player myself, I see this game and I go, I mean, again, I don't know that much about the meta. You're kind of telling me a bit about the Ezreal builds and stuff, but this Ezreal is not getting through that Zach. Last season, before these new items, like that is just too much frontline for your queues to do. Your team needs to stay alive long enough for you to be able to do that damage. But again, then we also have the Lucian here who's 9-4. He's pretty strong.
Yeah.
It's going to be difficult to whittle down that front line without going down to Lucian.
Definitely. I want to argue for the Ezreal because Divine Center, his first item, is pretty broken. It's a max health item, and he also has Bork as max health, so he has a max health setup that could cut through tank. But I'll agree, Try. It's not. I don't think it's the best champ in slot to deal with this enemy comp in terms of DPS. In terms of safety, it easily could
definitely,
be.
yeah.
But we'll have to see like his cut through power, his stopping power on this build here. He also has Conqueror, right? There's a lot of tools Ezreal puts into his setup that can deal with the high resist of the enemy.
Give me a little rundown, like what is meta? Give me like top 3 champs per role.
Top 3 per role. So for top lane in competitive, like in this.
Yeah. Like what we think we'll be seeing over the next couple of weeks.
So top lane, I think you'll see a lot of Ornn, a lot of Malphite, and maybe some. Let me see if I'm forgetting anyone. Ornn, Malphite, and I'm thinking of a fighter like maybe Camille, but you have to be pretty ballsy. Ornn, Malphite. I'll go to jungle for now. Let's go Kayn, Amumu, Hecarim.
Okay.
Mid lane, I want to say mid lane. I kind of have no idea.
Mid lane's hard, right? Because it's kind of like up in the air, like assassins, mages.
It is. We'll go Akali, Orianna. I don't know.
They nerf Victor enough that he's not as.
We could go Akali, Orianna, Victor. No, we'll probably see some Victor.
Okay. We did see the Victor ban this game.
Yeah, it's still there. Oh, Kayle.
Okay.
So top lane will be, I'll say, Ornn, Malphite, Kayle. Go into bot lane. It's gonna be Jhin, Ashe. Who knows? Third, maybe Ezreal, MF, Kai'Sa. Sure. Support is also tough. I think Leona is great. If not Leona, maybe Morgana, Janna, Nautilus, something like that.
Yeah. Well, we're kind of chit-chatting here. These teams are trying to play catch-up. They're playing the safe game. Well, we do see a bit of an engage here, but I'm going to guess that this is not going to play out to be anything.
Look at that
just going to back off here.
That block heal for hella.
It did. So Koibi beat Primetime Gaming off stream. So the winner of this match that we're currently watching will play Koibi.
All right, and I'm really excited to see Koibi play, and I'm sure we'll be talking a ton about them, so I'll keep my focus on Watts the Water, and Finky Binky Real Kinky, as we have ourselves definitely a game, definitely a close game here. Could go either way for sure.
100%. We do have Ocean Drake coming up in about 20 seconds, and that would be a soul for Finky Binky.
Looking to turn back, and it has to flash as we see a 5-man collapse on the bot lane. So if you're Morgana there, you need to understand that rushing 5 bot is a good play here because it's so close to Drake.
I was going to say, I think that, to me, that means that Watts the Water is going to be getting the Ocean Drake here. Again, Finky Binky could make a play, and they could potentially win it depending on how they play it out, but it's going to be tough.
It's a Zac tower dive, but he's not taking any damage. She still has Zanya's, so she's kind of baiting. That's like 2. Here, the Zanya's has to pop soon. She dodges. Great job. That was so many tower shots on the Zac, and he does not care. But it's a 2-man Baron sneak as the response here for Finky Binky.
They know. They are on their way.
So we see a skirmish in the river. It's a 1v3. How well can Kayn do in this situation? He gets stunned up by the Amumu, is forced to flee away. There's the W. Has to Q away. He cannot heal. Lucian will end up double tapping him down. Ornn comes through, hits multiple members. My eyes is on Akali here as we see Ezreal in the river as he enters. Amumu with the R flash onto the Ezreal. He will continue to tie him up. Humongous is forced to completely retreat. This looks like a blue fight win. Maokai with a flash Q to pick up 1 member. It's a pretty even fight as Ezreal's healing off Zac Bobs. But wait, he's back and he's tanky, but he drops to Ezreal, who was completely...
I ate my words. The Ezreal did so much there, and he kept healthy that whole entire time. Janna just on his ass while he's just laying out damage. And like you said, the heals that he was getting off the blobs was bananas.
Yeah, and I think if we were to watch that back, I think Ornn actually low-key. Watch Ornn here. I think he carries this fight. Watch him in this choke because Ezreal gets tied up by Mumu here. You see the R, now the Q. Ezreal's completely bailing, but Ornn in this choke doing a ton, soaking damage. Gets them 3 members down to 1 HP.
Ezreal coming back
can go
in
get
now.
1. Now Ezreal with the safety in his kit is able to play the long fight, can heal up on the blobs here, and still has the support of Morgana. So I think Morgana and Ornn did a ton that fight. Ezreal did a good job evading the Mumu, staying alive, and eventually it was a team fight win for FBRK as they pick up their Ocean Soul. Now Red King Ocean Soul with an Ornn versus the Zach that can eat 20 tower shots. Zach,
I know, this is wild, and this is such a close game here that's only about what is this, a 2.5K gold lead for Watts the Water, and now the Ocean Soul for Finky Binky.
Oh, this could be a great Amumu look. Look at the way they're stacking the brush, but he doesn't find it. He has Curse of the Sad Mummy and didn't see that angle there. Could have been a information or vision situation. As we see, Zach will go in with the E. He tries to lock a couple up, but he'll get rooted and might drop, but he's healing a ton. Of Mumu with a 2-man ulti on front line. Lucian with the culling will follow up on that and drop 1. That's Sticky Arms going down. Lucian still DPSing, but gets tagged up by some big damage as Red Team advances, dropping member after member, and Ezreal with the double kill. It is Finky Binky, real kinky.
I cannot wait to see the Ezreal damage after this game. I'm going to assume with how big the health pools are on the side of Watts the Water, it's going to be an absurd amount of damage at the end of this game. Is this going to be them closing it out right now?
I think we saw Ezreal crack Lucian with like a 500 HP Q and kind of won the fight there, on top of the Qs that he's slinging towards.
And I mean, realistically, they've melted that Zach. If we're being, like when he jumped in there, he went down pretty quick for the amount of health he has. And that is going to be the game for Finky Binky, moving on to take on Koibi in the next match. Wow.
What a game. That was something.
That was something.